mi Brown?
Okay. This is going to be a brief talk. It's extemporaneous. I'm just speaking as my thoughts come to me, but I want to do kind of a video response to Cody's video on memory. I think memory is kind of a funny thing. It's kind of a slippery thing. But yeah, going over the same material over and over, as Cody says, is eventually going to allow you to get the material down. So, what to do about boredom? Because repetition is often a very boring thing. You know, going back and always reading your same notebook on a foreign language can be a very boring type of thing. Well, that's why I always seek variety. Go over the same material, but through many different angles, through many different approaches. For instance, if you're studying, let's say, Persian, like I'm doing this summer, I'm studying Farsi, I use text in a lot of different languages to study Farsi. I read through the entire dictionary of Esperanto, Persian, which was all in the Arabic script. No transcriptions. I think transcriptions can be boring, you know, even though they're good for teaching you the pronunciation. The same with pinyin. You know, pinyin is good for learning how to pronounce Chinese, but eventually it's boring. The original scripts are much more interesting. Persian is much more interesting in Arabic script than in any of these transliterations. And there's just a beauty, there's a spirituality to Arabic script which cannot be, you can't possibly get with Roman letters. So I like, and what does that to do with memory? Well, I think eventually languages that have an interesting script or an exotic script are easier to memorize because you remember them for the configurations of that exotic script. The same with Chinese characters. Not really interested in learning Vietnamese because it's all written in phonetic transcriptions. It's kind of boring. Okay, and again, going back to using different languages, yeah, if you're already a polyglot, just don't study the language through your mother tongue. Study it through the new language through different languages you already know. That will add some spice to life. Okay, and read a lot of different books. Just don't always go back to the same grammar and phrase. You know, even if you're doing one language, use a lot of different books. Now, it's really good for memory is when you can reach the point where you can actually do your reading in the language, even if it's just on the level of a Reader's Digest, because once you can read, at least on a certain basic level, words are going to come back again and again, and you're going to have an interesting content, at least possibly, so you can avoid being bored. Well, those are just a few thoughts, a little bit of rambling. Perhaps I'm here in the theater, in the cultural theater in Matamoros in Mexico.